Hello and Assalamu alaikum. We are back this week with Simon Sharaf, and today we're going to be talking about the British High Commissioner in Pakistan, Jane Marriott. Recently, Jane Marriott was in Kashmir meeting Kashmiri leaders. What was that about, Samson?
I don't know because in 1947, 48, 49, UK did not support Pakistan enough. There was a
Mm-hmm.
flaw in the partition plan. It was called the bleeding wound, Kashmir. And there were other areas in India also which should have ceded to Pakistan. If there could be a distance of 1,000 miles between East and West Pakistan, then distances of Hyderabad and Junagadh and the islands in the Indian Ocean was not, it was inconsequential. Pakistan could have been a country with 5 or 6 territories all around. So I fail to understand why Jane Marriott was meeting Kashmiri leaders. Did she go there as solidarity with the Kashmiri people? No, not at all. You see, Jane Marriott has an interesting history. For the past many years, many years, she has been in the Middle East and Greater Middle East, what we call the MENA territories.
Hmm.
Uh, there was there were issues in Yemen. She was around there. Then for a long time she was an advisor, a terrorism expert with the ISAF and NATO forces in Afghanistan. Then that was the time when Pakistan had to fight a very intense war and terror against TTP and all these elements, SWAT included. Then she popped up in Kenya, and there were allegations against her by the Kenyans, newspapers, and everything that she had managed to not only effect a regime change but rig elections in favor of a party which is even now in power.
Mm-hmm.
And there were news that she was changed from there, and then she lands up in Pakistan. And Pakistan is undergoing the same turmoil, political instability. And she's right here. She's meeting political leaders. She's meeting Kashmiris. She's meeting everyone. The notable absence is she has not met any die-hard political leader of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. So it's a clear indication that she's an expert in this stuff world over, and she specializes in the Middle East and MENA territories, which I call the Greater Middle East. And she's been imposed upon us to keep an eye and manage affairs in all these political crises, self-generated political crises that Pakistan is passing through. So, and it is not new. It is not new. It is ever since Pakistan was made. I talked in a previous program how Pakistan came into existence. This intervention has been there one way or the other. First, we had to fight the Kashmir War. Our chief was from Britain. So we had certain reverses. Orders of Qaeda Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Liaquat Ali were not followed. You know the circumstances in which Qaeda Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah passed away. And then when the British chiefs were leaving, Liaquat Ali wanted to appoint a commander-in-chief of his choice. So he chose Lieutenant General Iftikhar. Surprisingly, General Iftikhar blew up in an air crash en route to Karachi or somewhere. And then it was all manipulated, and Ayub Khan became the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. It didn't end there. Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan was assassinated. You know that the faith met by Hussain Shaheed Sohrawardi, whose policies were Pakistan-centric, development-orientated. He was slightly left-leaning also.
Hmm.
He went, and when Ayub Khan as commander-in-chief went via Turkey to Pentagon, he was given a great reception there, and he had been to Turkey first. Turkey was then an accomplice of NATO and also in Santo. So he saw a modern Turkish army with equipment the Pakistan army had not even dreamed of. So when he
Hmm.
went to Pentagon, he told them, I want the same equipment. They said, we'll give you. And some conditions were discussed. And he agreed to everything. And then he was sitting and brooding, thinking. So they asked him, are you worried you will not get a good reception in Pakistan? He said, no, I'm not worried.
Hmm.
I am thinking how I will fire the high command of the military in Pakistan and become strong and continue with this policy, which he did. And you know that martial law was imposed. He instigated Skandar Mirza. Martial law was imposed. He threw out Skandar Mirza. He took over in a country which had two wings set apart by 1,000 miles. He drafted a funny
Hmm.
type of a presidential constitution in 62. And in the course of
Hmm.
discussing that constitution, uh, one feeler which was thrown out and became evident was that West Pakistan didn't want anything to do with East Pakistan. So some Bengali judges were told to insert such things and they refused. This is on record, it's written in books. And the person Ayub Khan feared most was Hussain Shahid Sarwardi, who was then in Bharuch. And strangely, he also blew into the air. He was assassinated. Or then it was Ayub's time when he took a stance, anti-American stance, wrote a book, Friends Not Masters. He started leaning towards China. It was time for him to go. He went. Bhutto exploited the situation. But then again, Pakistan broke, and when Bhutto started challenging the West once again, and he did two things: the Islamic Ummah summit in Lahore and also the nuclear program of Pakistan. It was time for him to go, and he went through the courts. Uh, and then ultimately, when Zia came and he became strong, he also realized that nuclear program was a good idea. So he pursued it. The nuclear program, 95% matured in Ziaul Haq's time. We were ready. And then Bhutto also had to, Zia also had to go. And then you
Hmm.
see successive governments, regime change, IGI, PMLN, People's Party, all this happening. Benazir Bhutto went in 1996, unceremoniously by President Lagali. It was basically because of the Afghan policy. Afghan policy was the policy of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Benazir Bhutto, which has now been amended after a very long time. So she also had to be dismissed. Ultimately, she got assassinated in
Hmm.
2007. And then you see how unceremoniously, with his hand-picked army chief, Musharraf had to go. और अभी भी
Hmm.
आप ये देखें कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट उसकी डेथ के बाद भी हु इज अलाउइंग ऑल दिस टू हैपन. सो ये एक रिजीम चेंज की इंटरवेंशन जो है ना, ये पाकिस्तान में फॉरेन स्पॉन्सर्ड बहुत अरसे से आ रही है. आई सेंट दे डीक्लासिफाई किए ना डॉक्यूमेंट सीआईए ने और पेंटागन ने अभी. आई सेंट यू
हम्म, एग्जैक्टली. मैं
अयूब
वही उसी उस पे आने वाली थी कि अब देखिए ना हमारे यहाँ जो इलेक्शंस.
he took permission from the Americans to impose a martial law. और ये पाकिस्तान को सेपरेट करने का प्लान जो है 62, 63, 64 सालों में इस अरसे में ये बन चुका हुआ था. देयर सो मच लिटरेचर अवेलेबल, बुक्स रिटन बाय राइटर्स जो ये बताते हैं कि क्या क्या होता रहा है. तो ये हमारा और ईस्ट पाकिस्तान में जो मेजर फर्क ये रहा है कि बंगालीज हैव ऑलवेज asserted for the rights. West Pakistanis have not. Some parts of Pakistan like ट्राइबल एरियाज थे या बलूचिस्तान था, उन्होंने कोशिश की है अपने राइट्स को असर्ट करने की, लेकिन वो सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुए फॉर टू रीजन। वन, दे वर अ माइनॉरिटी, एंड सेकेंडली वो इतने स्ट्रांग नहीं थे कि वो कर सकते, क्योंकि उन्हीं के अंदर से भी और लोग निकलते रहे इन डाइवर्स फॉर्म्स। वेदर दे आर राइट और रॉन्ग इज अ डिफरेंट डिबेट। तो पाकिस्तान में तो असर्शन ऑफ राइट्स का हुआ ही नहीं है। यू विल बी क्वाइट सरप्राइज्ड। बलोचिस्तान की जो इंक्लूजन हुई थी, जो एग्रीमेंट बनी थी, उसका
Hmm.
मुआवजा रीडेड पॉइंट बाय खैरपुर की रियासत किस तरीके से पाकिस्तान में शामिल हुई थी, यू रीड इट पॉइंट बाय पॉइंट। भावलपुर का आप पढ़ें पॉइंट बाय। उनके जम होने के बाद वो सारे जो गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल्स थे जम होने के, बीइंग अमलगमेटेड इनटू पाकिस्तान, वो सारे पीपल फॉरगॉट अबाउट इट। खत्म हो गया सब कुछ। हालांकि लीगली दोज थिंग्स स्टिल स्टैंड। तो ये एक, यू सी, आई सम इट अप एज दिस के the godless states, Russia and now even China, the West, led by America, will never let go. They have the tool of internal instability. They call a trajectory. उस ट्रेजेक्ट्री को हमेशा नोज डाइव में रखेंगे टू कंट्रोल पाकिस्तान। बांग्लादेश इज अ स्लाइटली डिफरेंट इशू।
अच्छा, आपने अभी बांग्लादेश की बात की, so let me come back to Bangladesh. We just had an election there, an election that was again, vastly criticized as being a selection. Yet Sheikh Hasina's government came back into power. The West did make a little bit of a noise, and then they went on and they accepted. What do you think is going on in Bangladesh then?
बांग्लादेश में इट्स द ऑपोजिट।
Hmm.
It's not a regime change operation, it is a regime sustenance operation, sustaining a
Hmm.
regime with the use of force. जो army chief for a long time in Bangladesh is a diehard loyalist of Hasina Wajid. If you know, Al Jazeera में एक बड़ा लंबा चौड़ा
Hmm.
प्रोग्राम और आर्टिकल भी उस पे आया था। और he's a thug, he's a gangster, his family is gangsters. It's a mafia which
Pakistan is well aware of such
they
people in
control
power,
entire
gangsters.
Bangladesh through threat of force and
Yeah.
violence, assassination, ये सारा कुछ
Hmm.
करते हैं। ये जो इतने ज्यादा जमात इस्लामी के लीडर्स और प्रो पाकिस्तानी लीडर्स को हैंग किया गया बांग्लादेश में हसीना
Hmm.
वाजिद
Hmm.
के ज़माने में, ये सब इसी तरह हुआ है। यानी मैं था, कुछ जमात इस्लामी वाले थे, इसाक खाकवानी होते थे एक पीठ, हम 3-4 लोग थे who were writing and raising voice in favor of Pakistanis in Bangladesh who were being assassinated through the
Hmm.
Bangladeshi judiciary। और तो कोई नहीं कर रहा था। तो
Hmm.
ये regime को sustain करना है। Bengalis are known in history to assert their rights, revolutionary rights का ट्रेंड अब बांग्लादेश में, ईस्ट पाकिस्तान जिसे हम
Hmm.
कहते हैं, पाकिस्तान में नहीं है। वो हमेशा तारीख में उन्होंने की है, कभी ना कभी ये करेंगे ज़रूर, क्योंकि उनका जो
Hmm.
लेफ्ट है वो अंडरग्राउंड है, उनका जो रिलीजियस राइट है वो अंडरग्राउंड है, प्रो
Hmm.
पाकिस्तानी एलिमेंट्स जो हैं वो अंडरग्राउंड है। वो ऊपर आए थे इरशाद साहब के ज़माने में, अब वो फिर
Hmm.
छुप गए हैं।
दोबारा
तो
छुप गए।
कभी ना कभी ये गुबार दोबारा आएगा। ये साइकिल जो बंगाली रेवोल्यूशन का है,
Hmm.
ये वापस उसी नहज पे आएगा जहां पर अगेन दे विल असर्ट देयर राइट्स। तो उसको बचाने के लिए ऑल
Hmm.
दिस, इट्स जस्ट लिप सर्विस। इलेक्शंस फेयर नहीं थे, बहरहाल इलेक्शंस तो थे, लेट द
Hmm.
सिस्टम वर्क। ये जो पाकिस्तान में भी लोग कहते हैं ना यार, लेट द सिस्टम वर्क, करप्ट है, क्या हो गया, जमहूरियत तो परवान चढ़े ना, ये सब इसी स्कूल ऑफ थॉट के हैं। मासूमियत में दे आर एक्चुअली परपेचुएटिंग
Hmm.
the tools of political instability in Pakistan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe this is a very good point for Mark for us to end our show for tonight. Because what's happening in Bangladesh with the elections there, and now when we meet again next week, we'll be another week closer to the elections. What I would like to say in at the end is that we do see a lot of turmoil, a lot of shift happening in our part of the world, in the Pakistan
हाँ
subcontinent
बिल्कुल,
part of the
लेट मी
world with
से
the Bangladesh.
हाँ, मैं एक चीज़ आपसे
Ji,
कह दूँ, पाकिस्तान is passing through hell hole
absolutely.
और our party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, our
Hmm.
leader Imran Khan is under a lot of pressure. As we record this, आज फैसला होगा इलेक्शन सिंबल के ऊपर, लेकिन मैं आपको एक चीज़ बता दूं, इट्स अ वेरी लॉन्ग स्ट्रगल और ये जो एक सेंटिमेंट आया हुआ है पाकिस्तानी नेशन में, majority of the nation of Pakistan
Hmm.
supports and gives approval of Imran Khan. ठीक है ना? I hope
Right.
they will be able to assert their rights within the bounds of the constitution. जो fundamental rights
Absolutely. Law and
obviously
constitution.
enshrined है
Totally.
constitution में एक पाकिस्तानी सिटीजन के लिए, जिसकी सबसे ज्यादा ओवरसाइट जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास है, जुडिशरी के पास है, क्योंकि हमारा इलेक्शन कमीशन तो कंट्रोवर्शियल है। तो आई होप
Absolutely.
पाकिस्तान जुडिशरी प्लेज अ रोल, इट डजंट प्ले द रोल जो 1962 की कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकिंग में किया गया था। इट डजंट
Mm-hmm.
प्ले द रोल जो कि मौलवी तमीजुद्दीन केस में इट प्लेड, ठीक है ना? इट डजंट प्ले द रोल जहां पर इन्होंने इंडेमनिटी दी थी मिलिट्री रूल्स को, याहिया खान के, अयूब खान के, ज़ियाउल हक के और प्रेसिडेंट परवेज मुशर्रफ के। इन्होंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल इंडेमिटी दी थी उनके मिलिट्री रूल्स के टाइम पर। तो अगर
Hmm.
यही है तो फिर तो हमारा मुस्तकबिल जो है ना इसी तरह इंस्टेबिलिटी पे रहेगा। और लुक एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ दिस इंस्टेबिलिटी, 100 रुपीस वी हैव
Absolutely.
अगेंस्ट डॉलर। कितना गरीब का रहना मुश्किल है। मेरे पास एम्प्लॉइज़ हैं, आई टॉक टू देम, वी ट्राई टू हेल्प देम जितना भी हम मदद कर सकते हैं आउट ऑफ द वे जाके। लेकिन 50,000 60,000 रुपए महीना इनकम पाकिस्तान में, इट मीन्स नथिंग। महीने की 10 तारीख तक आपके पास पैसे नहीं होते पाकिस्तान। तो लेट्स प्रे एंड होप फॉर बेटर डेज एंड बेटर टाइम्स।
Absolutely. I mean, and on that note, let's hope that Constitution wins over our Nazariya Zarurat every time. All right,
थैंक यू।
Pakistan.
लियाकत अली भुट्टो का पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद।